everybody. So I was thinking about going live to make dinners once every week, just because of the fact that I know how crazy it is, and sometimes it's hard for people to cook. And I know that we often get stuck, and then we don't know what to cook for dinner. We don't meal plan ahead. So then we start to think of, oh, I'll just order a pizza, or I'll go through the drive-thru, which is always very convenient. So what I'm making for tonight is actually just going to be a mismatch of basically chicken and veggies. And my husband and I have been working on doing the keto diet. We just started it about 2.5 weeks ago or so. So we've been eating, it's a higher fat, low carbohydrates, and then of course like a lot of fiber and things like that. So I am making tonight, I'm going to do some chicken, which we're going to actually be using regular butter for, because I'm actually allowed to have that on this type of diet. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to be doing a one-pan meal, but I was going to slice my chicken to make it a little bit thinner. So if you are somebody that purchases your chicken ahead of time, you could use your closing cut and fillet your chicken breast in advance and make cutlets, which is something that we normally do, but actually we thawed this out, so it wasn't quite as thin as I wanted. The thinner your chicken is, the better it's going to be for you to cook a fast one-pan meal, because you want it to be thin cutlets, so that way it's quick, it's easy, it's going to cook. You could sear it if you want to. So I'm just going to thin these out real quick, and then I'll get started with everything that I'm doing. So let's see who's out there tonight. How is everybody? So the snowstorm ended up to be a little bit of a flop there, didn't it? I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit bummed. I thought I would take the kids out in the snow, and we didn't quite get that, and now it's kind of just saturated out there. So I'm like, I just feel like all I would do is clean up Brody as a sloppy mess. So, okay, so here I am. I'm just going to, like I said, I'm just going to do the cutlets. Now, I know some of you recently just bought our closing cut. Phenomenal, phenomenal tool to fillet your chicken breasts. And I'm using one of our chef's knives. This is one of my favorite knives. It is a pretty heavy-duty knife. I mean, it's not something to that you want to leave laying around the house, obviously, with any of the kids. But it is definitely a good product to have on hand in case you ever need it. And obviously for cutting things at home. So you can see I'm making thin cutlets. The thin cutlets, like I said, was going to make it that basically your dinner is going to be done so much faster. So normally we get our meats at Marlin Meat Markets, and we will do all of this ahead of time, because if you fillet them and freeze them flat, and I'm not going to tell, and don't tell on me, but if you, or actually my husband, sorry, I got a question coming up there, so I lost track there. My husband actually froze this and then thawed it out, and he didn't cut it thin enough. But don't tell him. The closing cut, Janelle, this thing is, well, you can get it as a set. It's $43 if you get the whole, like the knife with it. But this is not the knife. You would get a different, one of our coated knives. And then this by itself you could get for about $30. But this does a lot more than just cutting the chicken. You could do, like if you're cutting olives, grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, like things that you have to cut in halves that are smaller, bagels, things like that. Okay, so now, like I said, if I would have had this prepped ahead of time, this would take me a lot less time even to do, but I wanted to thin it out just to show you. And now, if you do buy this, excuse me for a minute over here, let me just sneak this over. If you do go to make these types of meals, and you do go buy the chicken, and you want to do a bunch of chicken all at once, if you cut the cutlets, cut the chicken in the cutlets, and then what you do is freeze it very flat, and then you take your chicken in the frozen bag and throw it right on top of your non-stick or any type of cookware you have, and because it's a thin layer of your beef or your chicken or whatever meats you have, when you do it thin, your actual coatings on all of your cookware will actually help it to defrost faster. So you could actually have thin chicken breasts. They'll be thawed and ready for you to cook without using defrost in probably about 10 minutes. It sure does. Yes, it does. We're cutting cherry tomatoes. I'm actually using them today. So I can actually show you, but I just have to wash that real fast. But yes, it does work with cherry tomatoes, grapes, olives, bagels. You could probably get creative, and then, like I said, chicken. Now, tonight, I'm going to be using one of our brand new pans. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I am totally not a stainless steel person. In fact, I really don't like to cook on it. You have to season it. It takes time. You just have to know how to cook with stainless. I always feel like Except now I'm in love with it because we got a brand new stainless steel. I'm not sure if you could tell. Let me see if I can put this light up high. Oh, never mind. It's high as it goes. But there's actually a mesh material that's ingrained to this. And what happens is that this is like, it's a non-stick stainless. Isn't that amazing? And it's fabulous because I could use metal utensils in this. It's not going to stick. And I can put it in my dishwasher for easy cleanup. So I'm so excited. I've actually been cooking scrambled eggs in this thing, which is crazy because of course it doesn't. The mesh netting is also really great for searing things if you're going to sear things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat my pan. You always want to bring your cookware, anything you're cooking, up to temperature. So you want to give it about 5 minutes. Or even like 3 or 4, like just a couple minutes. Let it heat up. I always start it off on kind of like a high heat just to warm it, and then I bring it back down to a medium heat. The reason being is your food will actually cook better. If you have it just that you turn it on and you add your food instantly, it always seems to just take a little bit longer. So I'm going to get that going. And like I said to you, we are doing the keto diet. So I'm going to use some regular butter today. With this meal, and you're going to see some other things I'm going to put in it, and there's no recipe. So what I love about when you do these one pan meals is you don't have to follow a recipe. You just find your meat that you want for the night, and then you pick what it is that you want it to go with. So, you know, whatever vegetables you have on hand, even if they're frozen ones are great. You could do like potatoes if you wanted to. One of my new favorite things to do too is like I'll spiralize a bunch of vegetables. So I'll spiralize zucchinis or squash. Well, squash is easy, but I could spiralize like eggplants. If you are not a squash eater, but you ever wanted to make like a one pot spaghetti, you could do your sauce in this pan and your meats, and then you just take your squash, put it in your microwave, usually for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then within 5 to 8 minutes, your squash will start to really soften, and you just cut it in half and you can scrape it out. It looks just like angel hair spaghetti. So you would just add that last. So anytime you're cooking with like spinach or zucchini or squash, they tend to kind of take the flavoring of whatever you're cooking with, and then what you would do is add them last, so then that way when you add it last, they're going to have a true color. They're not going to get too soggy. They're going to still be crisp enough for you to eat. So now you can see I'm going to sear my chicken a little bit here in my pan, and I'll show you. I'll zoom in a little closer for you. I'm in love with this because you can literally fit so much stuff in this. This is our 12-inch stainless pan. We have a lot of new cookware this season. They restyled a lot of it. Our handles come off in some of them for easy storage, so you could stack like double and triple pots and pans all into one, which makes it really nice. So I'm going to let that sear for just a minute. And you're probably thinking, what else does she need to prep? So let me grab that. You want to make sure you have clean mats. Our mats are really nice because you can swap things out. These go in the dishwasher, but they're easy for cutting. So what I'm going to do is kind of prep some veggies. So one of my veggies I'm going to do tonight is zucchini. And I could spiralize this, but tonight I decided I'm not going to spiralize. I am going to use slices of this. And we have a couple ways that we can slice our zucchinis. Obviously, I have a ton of different tools and products. But I'm going to now I'm going to kick my heat back down. But what I'm going to actually do today is use our quick slice tool. Now this has a V-shaped blade, and all I do is I take my zucchini. I could do anything with this. Cucumbers, mozzarella cheese, there's all different things that you could do. And then all you do, actually I'm going to do a little bit smaller of a piece. That's kind of a big one there. And all I'm going to do is rock it back and forth. And you'll see that it made cuts, and they're all even. So this is great for those of you that love veggie trays. Or caprese salads, depending on the type of tomato you have, because you don't want to squish it, but it's great for all sorts of stuff. Even like if you have smaller kids and you're always cutting like hot dogs and stuff like that, this is a great tool for that as well. So my zucchini is cooking, so you can see my chicken here simmering. And I did turn my heat back down to medium, so I'm going to let my chicken brown a little bit. But you can see, like normally if you had stainless steel and I went to pick up my chicken, I would be sticking right now, and I'm not. And that's even if I had an olive oil or butter, I still would normally be sticking unless my stainless was very well seasoned and versed, which this one, I just got it not that long ago. So trust me when I say it's not seasoned at all. And I apologize, my camera keeps moving there. All right. So here we go. So now my zucchinis are done. Now I'm not going to add these right away, so you'll see what's going to happen with this. So they are finished. Now I'm also going to add in, I like to add some color. So I'm going to use, I'm a big mushroom person. I absolutely love mushrooms. So what I'm going to do with that tonight, I'm actually going to use our food chopper for this because I kind of want them to be in small pieces tonight. That way they cook again, they cook a little faster. And I want to show you, it's going to brown so nicely. And of course, we're going to make the chicken, even though I'm going to sear it right now, and it's going to get brown, it's going to be very juicy when I actually cook with, or when I actually go to eat it, because I am going to then saute this in another item, which you'll see. So I'm going to, sorry about the chopping. I'm using a portobello mushroom, and I just got it stuck because I put a big piece of it in. So give me a second here. There we go. And I'm just going to chop it up a little bit more. I love this food chopper. This is kind of the reason I saw Pampered Chef. I needed a new one, and I'm addicted to this thing. So again, I apologize for the loud chopping. Like I said, I wanted small pieces. Now you can pick when you're doing your one-pot meals. You could do anything in that. You don't have to be fancy, you know. I'm doing chicken tonight. You could do pork if you wanted to. You can do, beef. If you wanted to make meatballs, you could do one-pan meals with meatballs. You could do steaks, and, you could basically slice your steaks that they would be like fajitas. I'm trying not to be loud. I'm sorry. And we make, a lot of times we make extras because we take this stuff for lunches then. It's just a little bit healthier. And I don't know why I'm getting stuck in here. Look at, they're getting stuck in like slices. I guess they don't want to cooperate with me. It normally doesn't do this, so I don't know what the deal is here tonight. So what's everybody else having for dinner tonight? Anybody having anything good? Anybody having pizza? It's always funny, we always cook on the days that we have off. Doesn't everybody do that? I'm sorry. Sorry, Karen, I didn't mean to. I could have grabbed my manual food processor, but for some reason when they have these big mushrooms, they don't work as well in that. I'm done now, I promise. Okay, so I'm searing my chicken, so take a look at how brown that my pieces are getting. I'm actually going to move this one over more to the middle. And I want to brown those up a little bit more on that side. So I'm just going to add a little bit more butter to that just because it kind of will get it going there. Just sear it how I want it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is this is not going to be fully cooked when I take this off. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the vegetables going. And I'm going to coat our chicken with a little bit of a seasoning. So I'm going to pull some of my chicken off right now, stick it in a bowl with some rub. So let me just grab my bowl. Okay, so I'm just going to stick it in a glass mixing bowl, add some rub to this. And these other ones will be just a few seconds here. So now, I'm doing a lot of extra here. So depending on the size of your family, you don't have to obviously cook quite as much. So if you're not cooking quite as much, you probably could actually get away with just leaving your chicken in and adding your vegetables to the side. But I always like to do a bunch. Oh, somebody's asking me something. Chicken and smoked sausage with red pepper and onion, doing the same, but in my new all-purpose pot. Oh, yes, Reed! I love the all-purpose pot. I was so sad when they retired it. I had to melt down a little bit because I love that thing, but I still obviously am using it at my house. We did get a new all-purpose pot. It's not quite an all-purpose pot. It's called a multi-purpose pot. I don't feel it does the same as my all-purpose pot. I do, however, really like it. So I will be sharing, I'll do one of my next meals in that pot. And to me, I don't want somebody that got the all-purpose pot to be like, oh, well, now I bought that, but now they came out with something new. The all-purpose pot is a very wide pot for those of you that own that. Our new multi-purpose pot is a high pot. So there's a major difference as far as what you're doing. Could you cook some of the same meals? You could. I just feel that I would definitely have some go-to items that I would do in each. So I would feel like I'd have a preference with those. And I'm a little bummed. I probably should have thinned that piece out a little bit. So that piece is kind of not cooking as fast as I would like it to. So I'm actually going to take that out and slice that down a little bit more. So this is where the close and cut definitely comes into play, because then you get things done a lot faster. So all I did is just took this in half. There we go. And I'm finishing it up. But I want to show you how it's creating, like if I move this, you see how it's actually moving it around? Like look at this pan, how easy it is to use. And it literally is going to clean up beautifully. And the best part, I think, is the fact that obviously it's going to go in my dishwasher, which I think is always an extra plus. I don't know who else thinks that, but I know I am a dishwasher gal. So I'm going to let those sear a few extra minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add some of my vegetables. I probably won't even do all these vegetables because I did actually cut a ton. So I'm going to add some of my vegetables right now. So I'm doing some zucchini. And then, of course, I'm doing my mushrooms. But my mushrooms I'm going to add later, too, because I don't want to do those right away because they're the smaller pieces. But I am going to add some fresh asparagus. So let me get that. So I don't know where everybody shops, but locally we actually hit up Bill's Produce. Aldi's is really good, especially this time of year, because the vegetables and fruits are so expensive everywhere. So we do, like I said, we do Aldi's and Bill's most frequently for all of our stuff. All right, and I'm finicky with asparagus. I like asparagus. I never thought I did, especially fresh. I was always the canned type of person. But recently, I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually really like the fresh ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull off my chicken now. And now I have my veggies in here. And I'm going to go ahead now and add my asparagus in. And wait till you see, because I'm going to show you how colorful this is going to get. I just want to add a couple other little things. I'm going to add some green beans in. Just a couple green beans. So you can see we buy a ton of our vegetables by bulk for when we're doing any type of cooking for the week. So it just makes it a lot easier for prepping healthier meals. Now, I know some of you are on the other end going, does your child eat this? Absolutely not. He does not. I wish. Unfortunately, I have a child that does not eat any of the foods that I make. I wish he did. He is a chicken and fry type of guy, unfortunately. So I'm a little bummed about that, but what are you going to do, you know? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this back a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to these. A teensy bit of butter to those. And now you could do extra virgin olive oil. Sometimes I do coconut oil. I don't always use butter, but with the diet, I didn't actually have enough fats today, so I needed something with fat, which obviously butter adds to that. And it comes with our new pretty lids. Look at our pretty lids now. It says Pampered Chef. So I'm just going to cover that, which will probably get a little quieter now. I'm so sorry about that. And I had a little extra purple onion, which I'm going to stick in there. I like things that are colorful. I could get out a fancy tool. I could get out my quick slice. I just don't really feel like it because it's only just this little bit, but I want to add a little color to the dinner. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice it real fast here with my knife. The knife I'm using is actually just a quick little paring knife that we have with our Forge cutlery line. So I'm going to get this going. And now I'm going to get... So I'm basically, by doing this, I'm sauteing my vegetables and at the same time semi-steaming them too. And now with my chicken, I'm going to add that rub I told you about. So I'm just going to add a little bit. If anybody knows me, I don't measure anything. If I measure at your shows, it's only because I feel like I have to. I don't normally measure for anything in our own house. I just kind of whip it up. That's the empowerment we want you to have, is that you feel like you don't need to measure. You just kind of throw it all in and it's good. So I'm just going to show you how our chicken looks right now. I think it looks delish. And like I said to you, it's not completely fully cooked because I'm going to actually saute this a little bit then, so hopefully you can see it. And there's my vegetables, how they're all cooking and steaming. So in just a couple of minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them cook down. I'm going to be adding, actually I have to hit my microwave here for a minute. I have chicken broth. I'm making homemade chicken broth. So if you don't have chicken broth on hand, I advise everybody to buy something like this. These are really great. They're just the bouillon cubes. They're really good. You have beef and chicken ones, and then you just throw it in. For every one of these, you add a cup of water. And you could actually buy low sodium ones as well. And I just nuke it in my microwave so that way this will condense down. The other tip I have, I didn't do this, I had it done already, but I actually use my garlic press, and I put the bouillon cube in that, and then it will crush it up for me. And I almost forgot garlic. How could I forget garlic? I am a garlic addict. Is anybody else a garlic addict? I said, I definitely will never have to worry about vampires coming near me because I love my garlic. Which, that's the rub I'm actually using. It's called garlic and herb. We do have a new recipe out that I'll be doing for some of my shows coming up. And it's, you use honey mustard. It's a honey mustard rub, and then you do, like the garlic and the asparagus and the chicken. So that's going to be some of my one-pot meals I'll be featuring for this season for shows. So I'm just using my garlic press. Now, I don't know if you own this, but our garlic press that I own it actually takes the peel off. Ooh, Crystal, you love garlic, so does Rachel. You don't have to peel your garlic with our press. All you have to do is actually stick your clove in, and this is a clove. It's just a small piece off of your actual hunk of garlic. Sometimes I've gone to shows and I don't want to rat anybody out, but they think the whole thing is a clove, so it's really not. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could be here to smell this. Oh, you should smell the garlic now. Oh, it's amazing. So I'm just gonna get this going with my garlic. And what I love about when I do these one-pan meals is the fact that my greens stay so green. And I was never much of a green veggie person. Like, honestly, I just could do without my vegetables. I don't know. I mean, that's probably part of the problem with why I always end up gaining weight, because it was always so much easier to eat starchy stuff. But I've changed my ways lately. Let's hope for the best, right? So I'm going to add my mushrooms in now. And actually, if you just heard my microwave beep, what it is going to be my broth. And what I'm going to do now to end my recipe, I'm going to actually add my chicken back in. So let me just show you what it's looking like so far. Look at how green my vegetables are. Don't they look amazing? And like I said, coconut oil. You don't have to do anything too fancy. Regular butter, olive oil, extra virgin. Now look at, nothing is sticking on this pan. Is that not amazing? I just find that so fascinating. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my chicken again. So, and I'm going to add tomatoes, but my tomatoes don't get added to the end, and neither does my spinach. So you can see that this is just one heck of a healthy pan meal. So let me just add these in. And I'm going to add the juice from my chicken, because that just adds to your recipe. And I'm going to take out my bouillon cubes. So all I did was put it in the microwave. So if you look, you can see that I put the bouillon in. You can see the different color. And I'm just going to add this in. And I don't measure. I told you this. So I put about a cup. Probably about a cup. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to close my lid. I'm going to turn it up to a little bit higher heat. And I'm going to simmer this for about 5 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to add my cherry tomatoes in. So, I know Doreen had asked about, do I do cherry tomatoes in that? So, while we wait for that to simmer, I'm going to go get my new mat, because I keep switching mats, because I like when they're clean. So let me get a new mat, and let me just wash up that quick slice real fast, and I'll show you, or not the quick slice, close and cut, and I'll show you how it does the tomatoes. You can post any questions you have, anybody that's out there. Thank you, Crystal. I just want to wash this up real fast. I don't want anybody to be thinking I eat raw chicken, even though my tomatoes are going to go in on this anyways. Do that real fast. Now, with this quick slice, hopefully you can hear me, because I have a habit of talking as I'm away, but I have a big mouth, so you guys all know that. So with this quick slice, the key though is you got to be very careful that you have the right size knife. So if you're interested in the quick slice but not necessarily wanting to purchase the whole set with the knife, have no fear. I can measure the knife for you and let you know how many inches it is, so you know what size knife that you'll need. So let me just grab that knife again. Actually, you know what? Let me grab my other knife. So I'm like living out of my Pamper Check bag because this was in my car from a show I did the other day and I just brought my stuff in. So this is the knife that it would come with. It's a chef's knife. So this is the style. So that's what I was using before, but these are coated. The other ones are a forged cutlery. The difference is this has less of a guarantee. The forged knife that I was using is actually from my knife block, which I can show you. I love my knife block. Isn't it so pretty with the acacia wood? But with my knives, and half of them are even out because I was using them, but with the knife block that I have there, that has a lifetime guarantee on for anybody that is in need of new knives. Or if you know somebody that's getting married, I would highly recommend them to send them my way because they are the host to their own bridal registry, so they get all the awesome stuff, which I think is pretty amazing too. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these tomatoes on. So this has like a spring in it. Let me see. Can everybody see? Yeah, you guys can see. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of slide this over a little bit. I'm going to shut this, and then I'll just show you how it works. Oops. And so there you can see that the tomatoes are in halves. Okay, so really simple, really easy. It's great, like I said, for anything that you're basically going to cut in halves. I know I do olives a lot, so I'm just letting this simmer here. It's getting there. Oh, I bet you guys want to take a peek. I'm down to 2 minutes, and then we're going to add those tomatoes. And then at the end, of course, I'm going to add my spinach. Now, if you do spinach in recipes and you like spinach, one of the tips that I can give you is when you're doing anything with spinach, you want to make sure you add your spinach at the very end, and you don't even have to cook the spinach. You just fold it into the recipe. When the recipe is done and pulled off the stove, it will leave your spinach much greener, and it's not going to be that wilty, and it's shrunken down to like a small little piece of like seaweed looking stuff. So you add that after. So I'll even do that for you guys tonight. And then the other thing I was going to tell you, which I was going to do, and I don't know why I didn't do it, but normally when I start to saute something, I usually will use my butter or my olive oil or coconut oil, and then I do my garlic. Garlic, I will often pair with a little bit of onion, because when you pair it with a little bit of onion, it will add moisture to your recipe, so you're not going to burn your garlic when you're starting to saute it. So that's just something too. So when I sear my chicken, I could have done that as well. So I'm down to my final minute. Oh my gosh. Oh, I bet you guys are so jealous right now. I'm so sorry. If you stop over my house and pretend to be my friend, you could have some today. So you could try it. So let me sneak in. I'll show you what it's like. And I'm going to start to add my tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and add all these tomatoes to it. Oh, and all the juices. And a lot of times when you add tomatoes to a recipe, again, you want to do it at the end. It obviously adds some color to it. Makes it look all nice and pretty. And then on top of that, it we'll add almost like a pink cream sauce that it kind of makes. So I've been talking to you guys now. Of course, it's been a little bit, but I'm talking as I'm cooking. So if I were making this meal just for our family and I wasn't talking and doing a video and showing things and discussing things, this recipe really would be done in probably about maybe like between 12 to like 20 minutes, depending on how much I'm using. So in this case, because I did a lot, it's more like a 20-minute meal. But I mean, let's face it, look at how much healthier this is. Hi, Mary. How much healthier this is than some of the things that we eat on a daily basis. So one of the things I've been really trying to do, and I have to tell you guys, this is huge for me. I have not had sugar in 3 weeks. So from having Cooper, I was like, I need to lose the weight. I just don't feel good. And I wanted to just kind of get back on track. So I have not had an ounce of sugar or carbohydrates in 3 weeks, which is crazy. So like, well, almost 3 weeks. So that was a big deal for me. And I had a horrible, horrible headache at first, but it's definitely have subsided. So I'm hoping that this will help me to get kind of back on track. And of course, healthy eating, it's fresh stuff. It's so much healthier. It's so much better for you too. Am I doing the whole, what, Karen? The whole 30? Or the whole what? I'm not sure. Oh, no. It's not the whole 30. I'm doing the keto. So far, I weighed in this morning because I figure it's a snow day. Why not, you know? So when I weighed in this morning, I'm down 9 pounds since I started. So it's almost 3 weeks, and so it's almost like 3 pounds a week. But I've been pretty strict with it. I've been drinking water, which I was not a water person. And I'm always the one that quits. My husband's always the one that, yes, Chrissy, I know I was going to message you then to let you know. my husband, of course, he's like down like 17 pounds. You know how men are, right? So I get so frustrated. I'm like, seriously, I eat like less than you, and I hear him crunching and snacking a little stinker. But of course, you know, us women, we obviously go through much more with childbearing. So he has a stiff competition. He just doesn't know it yet because it's on. Game on. So, okay, let me show you this. And I want to show you something else. So I'm going to grate some fresh Parmesan. This is kind of what's fun about the Whole30 is you could have cheese on this. And I'm a cheese girl and a meat girl, so this works. Thank you. I know, we have to share more recipes. I actually found, Christy and anybody else that's out there, I have now joined our Pampered Chef community. We have a keto group, so I have tons of recipes. And anybody that is looking to like maybe learn how to do some cooking like this, or interested in doing a keto diet, invite me over to your house. I would love to help you get started. Invite all your friends that are interested. I can teach you how to make these meals and how to cut things and how to food prep and store your foods. I mean, I would love to do like a workshop, a keto workshop where everybody bring stuff, or host a show where I could teach you recipes that go with it. These recipes are not something you cannot do. You don't have to be a cook to do these recipes. Literally, I just pulled this one out of my butt today. I'm not going to lie to you, because I literally am just whipping up things I'm allowed to have. So, yes, oh my God. Men totally do. They just stink, don't they? Okay, so I'm going to grate some cheese, but before I go, I want to show you this, and then I'm going to grate up the cheese, and then I will not hold you wonderful people any longer. You're probably like, shut up, Vanessa, please, shut up. I want to go eat myself. So, let me just get out a hunk of cheese. It's so funny on a diet, you think, oh my gosh, I cannot eat cheese, but on this diet you can, so I love it. Let me just grab my grater. Now, this is one of my graters I have. This is a fine one. We have a couple of them, a coarse one and things like that. But this is my new favorite. I've had it for a while, but I really just fell in love with it even more now. So I'm just going to add, like I said, a little bit of cheese on top. But watch what you do. Look at this. Wait till you watch the cheese fall. Look at this. Oh, so this is better than the Olive Garden. Don't let them fool you. And you know, like I said, one of the things very hard for me with dieting is that I don't like to measure when I cook. So I have really learned like portion control when I eat stuff. When I go to eat my meats now, I look at the palm of my hand and I try to measure that. Just some different tips that I've actually learned with Pampered Chef. And oh my God, it's amazing I just said this. I didn't even plan this, but I actually have cutting mats too. And like they teach us when I go to different trainings with Pampered Chef how to actually measure things without actually measuring things. So like your thumb would be, like if you take the tip of your thumb, that's considered like a teaspoon and things like that. So just learning how to use my hand as a balance to help measure things has really made a difference. So I'm really careful. I don't overeat my meals anymore. I just make sure that when I'm cooking, that I'm cooking with the right materials and that I'm only eating as needed, that I'm not being a glutton and eating when I shouldn't be eating, which is usually what I used to do. So there you have it, folks. I'm going to show you my final product here. And I will let you all go. And what I will do is, because I love all of you so much, I will post the recipe on my page underneath this video. So then that way, if you want to make it, but there's no measurements. So don't measure. Like, don't stress yourselves out. Don't measure. Just go for the fun of it. Enjoy cooking, because that's what we want you to do. So there is my yummy recipe. It's all done. And if I'm a nice girl, maybe I'll share it with my husband. But he's upstairs taking a nap from working. So I'm just going to probably eat and let him figure it out later. So thanks for joining me. I hope you hopefully I taught you something new, and my goal is to start doing cooking with V at least once a week, maybe a couple times, and I will be doing all different things. So I'm thinking I might on Saturday morning whip up some breakfast for everybody with some fun new gadgets we have. So have a great night. Thanks everybody.